Yo, what is up, fellas? It's Ryan, and today we're talking EA College Football. If you're anything like me, you've been anticipating the release of this new college football game for a long time. It's been over a decade since the last release in the series, and it was long overdue. Finally, a few weeks ago, we were blessed. And overall, I think EA did a great job with this release. However, there are some glaring issues that need to be addressed, and I'd like to talk about a few of those things today. If someone at EA is listening, and I pray you are, this video is not meant to bash your product. I've put a lot of time into the game over the last few weeks, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. As a result of me no-lifing the game since its release, I feel I'm qualified to offer some constructive criticism, and these issues I'm going to address today should be relatively easy fixes. Alright, there we go. There's the intro. Let's get into it. My main sources of concern lie within one game mode: Dynasty. I've always loved Dynasty and franchise game modes. It gives you a chance to create your own storylines and develop your team into a powerhouse. I've got a league with 32 people, and it's been going great. Once the server stabilized and we were able to get everyone in the league, we've had a ton of activity. People have been playing their games, recruiting, and talking in the Discord. There's a lot of buzz around the league. We're almost through our first full season, and we've ran into a few issues that are holding us up. I'm going to address this first because I feel like it's the most pressing issue for the online Dynasty community at this point in time, and we'll talk about a few other things later in the video. EA, please, we need the ability to manually select playoff teams for online dynasties. There's so much variability within these 32-man leagues, and commissioners need the ability to manually adjust the playoff bracket. This issue stems from a few other things that would be harder to fix, like the ranking logic that's completely broken. However, I understand that's a complex code that will be improved over time. We could ignore that if we just have the ability to adjust the playoff bracket. We've got this community of players that are super excited about the game and have already invested a lot of times into their squads, through gameplay and recruiting. We need a hotfix that's applicable to pre-existing dynasties. Let's look at the playoff bracket in my 32-man league, for example. It's all out of order and completely contradicts the current CFP rankings. It's got non-Power 5 schools with byes in the playoffs, despite their low rankings in the polls. For context, I brought back the Pac-12 and placed all the user teams in the Power 5 conferences. I put the CPU teams in the remaining conferences and gave all the user conferences a championship game, so theoretically the bracket shouldn't look how it does. I'm not sure if it's a glitch with custom conferences or custom schedules, but regardless, it could be easily addressed by me as a commissioner if EA just allowed us to customize the playoff brackets at the end of the season. As things stand right now, there's no way for me to go in and adjust it. So we've decided to just hold off on advancing our league for now, but this should be an easy fix for EA. Over the last few years, franchise fans have been regularly disappointed by EA. For years, it seems that franchise mode has been an afterthought for the development team. Leading up to the release of College Football 25, the devs at EA talked a lot of game about devoting time and resources to the Dynasty community. This is an opportunity for them to back that up. Another thing that I'd love for EA to address is custom scheduling within online dynasties. Like I said, we've got 32 members in our dynasty. As the commissioner, I had to manually create all the schedules for the users in the league so that we'd have user v user matchups. I can live with this, and it isn't game breaking like the issue we talked about before, but it was an extremely tedious process that could really use some work. And I don't want to bash EA too much here, but it really felt like there was little to no time devoted towards this, and if they were to implement a feature that allowed for a completely user v user schedule to be generated automatically, that would be great. In Madden, when you have a 32-man league, every team is user controlled. That's not the case here in NCAA, where we have 134 FBS teams in the game. With that in mind, we really don't want CPU teams in the playoffs of an online dynasty, where we have 32 users competing against each other. The scheduling and playoff situation have a direct correlation, and I'm interested to see how EA is going to address this. Personally, I wouldn't mind if they gave us the option to completely take the CPU teams out and just create a schedule like Madden. You play your conference games each year, your rivalry games, and then a few random non-conference games. But if they can find a way to effectively address scheduling and rankings while keeping the CPU teams in the mix, I'm all for it. It keeps things interesting with recruiting and stats. EA, please, allow us to manually adjust the playoff bracket at the end of the season and do something to make the scheduling process within online dynasties more user-friendly. These are the two biggest issues that I've run into within the game. The gameplay is an overall positive and feels relatively refreshing. I'd love a few more animation variations from Madden, but I'm sure that'll come over time. The presentation is unreal and the graphics are great. I'm not going to nitpick too hard because I enjoy the game. Just allow us to enjoy it together by addressing these issues within Online Dynasty. I'm hoping EA is listening to the community and plans to continue to polish College Football 25. That's my rant for the day. EA, please hook us up. I hope y'all enjoyed. Leave a comment down below to help this video get around, and maybe somebody who can do something will see it. Appreciate y'all. Until next time, peace.